能不能还开始录吧？按照他们的说的预定时间呢，还有1分钟啊。应该是在博客区卡做的发布会的话，那么老马这次应该也会来吧？那么如果是老马参与的话，那么总觉得准时开始的概率不是很高啊。那么现在我们看的呢是 SpaceX 和 T-Mobile 的一个联合发布会啊，说是要增加等于说是人的连接性吧，就是说connectivity 吧，其实就是相当于就是通讯的一种扩增吧的一项相关计划，应该是 Starlink 和 T-Mobile 的一个某种联合商业计划吧。本来呢，这种东西的话，我是倾向于就直接看文字发布的，但主要是老马连续推2次啊，说是 This will be something special 嘛。他算是力推了这次的发布会，可能他袖子里确实有什么我们不知道的卡片吧，然后就也不知道到底想讲什么，那么到时候就来看看就知道，哎，也有车来了，那应该是老马们2辆特斯拉嘛。有2辆特斯拉开到了台边上，那么应该就是了吧？第一个人不知道谁。感觉这2个只保安，看还没有看到了吗？我到底有什么内容，我们就看看就知道了吧。这次也不算什么解说了，就主要是瞎看看啊，反正一起来看一看吧。看看推特上有什么消息啊？Scott Manley 在吐槽这个音乐，我也就觉得这个音乐这边是场地的照片。哎，这个音乐我真的不知道怎么说。刚才没什么。现在手上的信息确实很少，就不知道他们想讲什么。哎，是不是来了？也不是吧？看人群，下面的观众还是散漫的状态，应该关键人还没来。台上有2张椅子啊，我估计就是一个2个人聊天的形式吧。哎，这种事情放在户外搞的话，真是。还有就是这个发布会尽量放在博客区卡做的话，那么应该就是星链2代吧。就是说，因为星链2代和星舰基本上是绑定的状态嘛。虽然现在的话也有一些新的消息说，那么空差可能有一个后备方案嘛，就是减小尺寸的星链2.0，那么可以放在019号进行发射啊。就一个不在一棵树上吊死的感觉嘛。我估计不管是什么发布计划吧，总的来说应该不是近期的，可能就是至少1-2年后才会实施的一种计划吧。哎，我可以知道，这种都瞎猜，到时候看就知道了。测试这边评论说弹幕说测试是什么测试啊？静态点火吗？今天没点吧？结果今天好像没搞静态，就没有点嘛。然后这边也开始搞发布会了嘛。我估计就今天的包括区块的测试应该已经不会再有了。 这边毕竟在聚集人群。虽然这里离测试场还有点距离，但毕竟不大好。那么预定的时间是说是8点钟，这个果然是印证了我开始猜测吧。就因为是有老马参与的活动嘛，尤其是发布会这种东西，准时开始的概率非常低啊。最糟糕的情况应该是，当年 Boring Company 好像那次的发布会是晚了40分钟吧，就蛮扯的，晚个10几分钟还算正常了。谁知道这是什么鬼音乐？这边2度有人发弹幕问测试有没有结束？你们指的是什么测试？今天点火吗？今天本来可能有的静态点火的话，应该是没有进行啊。然后这边我的意见是，这边开始搞发布会的话，那么在附近继续搞大动静的一些测试，应该是不大会搞了，应该就差不多了。当地的时间的话，也是下午的5点了嘛，也算是快，时间也是封路时间也都差不多了。估计今天就这样吧，应该不会有什么太大的动静了。之后的话，那么千里之后今天是测了涡轮棒的旋转嘛？可能是吧，我没特别关注。哟，开始了，屏幕上出现了个倒计时啊。好吧，应该是有个小预告片。OK。那么这边说，在美国这块土地上的话，有20%左右的面积是有按照传统网方式来进行接入服务是比较困难的。
When things go wrong at sea, they go wrong really fast. There's nothing more terrifying than not being able to communicate.
I like to go.
刚才那个段是的说是海上来说的话是变天变得很快，失去联系通讯的话是很可怕的事情。那么这个应该是说是他这个时候他是喜欢探险的一个人嘛，他喜欢深入孤境嘛，但是需要和家人保持联系，差不多这种感觉。差不多一样的意思啊。就说你去有些地方的时候，如果说跟别人失去联系的话，那么其他人都会很紧张。
When you're out far enough from being able to get help quickly, it crosses your mind a little more.
Raising bison is a very dangerous job.
If John's injured out there, my biggest concern is how to get a hold of somebody.
刚才那么划船和这个养牛这2个地方都是一样的，就是如果受伤的话，那么能不能及时求助啊？对他们来说比较重要。一样的，也是一种。如果说在有些地方没有通讯，就有焦虑。这边给的很果断的一个声明，说是现在的通讯行业对这些地方是没有任何实质性的计划去弥补这个空洞。嘛，我们都知这个，我们大概都是理解的。就其实肯定是一个跟星链的合作计划。因为对于卫星来说的话，这些地理障碍都不是问题啊，反而是越是偏僻人少的地方，越能够发挥这种卫星通讯的优势嘛。
Good evening, everybody.
这个谁啊
How you doing?
？T-Mobile 的 CEO。
I hope you're all happy to be here like I am. Feeling good? Thank you to the SpaceX team and Elon for welcoming us all to Starbase for this big announcement. I have to tell you, 2 months ago, I gave a little preview of this without a lot of people knowing that I did. I foreshadowed it during the announcement of our latest Un-carrier move at T-Mobile that we call Coverage Beyond. And I told the public then that T-Mobile's mission as a company, our corporate mission,
为什么
is
不
to
找
be the
天地？
best in the world
哎，
at
怎么说？
connecting customers to their world.
这不都是
And that groundbreaking
江湖的
move,
事情吗？
Coverage Beyond, was
找
all
合作
about
伙伴，
connecting people beyond the reach of our cellular network.
谁找
With
谁
that
还
move,
不一
we
定呢。
became
这
the
个
first company of our kind worldwide to offer ubiquitous global cellular high-speed data built right into our most popular plan. 220 countries around the world connected to cellular partners that we have. And we announced that we'd connect you when you're on your way by partnering with all the major airlines in the United States for built-in Wi-Fi for the entire flight at no extra charge. That was Coverage Beyond. And tonight, we're taking things together with our new partners
刚刚
at
说它是之
SpaceX,
前他们的
a
项目，
huge, giant leap forward. Because tonight we are announcing a technology alliance that we call Coverage Above and Beyond.
Above and Beyond。他说他们前面做的一个项目名字叫 Coverage
It's big
Beyond 的，就
because
是
it is about solving the
超，
biggest pain
反正
point
就
in
是
the over
这是再加个 above，
4-year history of our industry.
算是
This
下一代。
partnership
当然
has
这一
a
代的话，
vision
这个 above 的
that
意
is
思
the
很显然就
end
是
of
satellites 的
mobile
问题。
dead zones.
那么目标就是
Listen, this
根
is a
除
big
没有
pain
通讯
point.
的
Our country is vast.
区域
In。fact, it's the 4th largest country in the world by landmass. There are 500,000 square miles uncovered by any cellular network.
那
And
这
this
里
is
就是平
important.
常是
It's important for safety. It's important for
美
connectivity
国
with
没有
the people
被
we
没有
love.
通讯覆盖的区域
It's
的面
important
积
for people in rural areas, for first responders, for sports people like the people in the video. But honestly, it's important for all of us.
那么刚刚那个预告
Because,
片
you
应
know,
该也
we
是他们
have
做
all,
的。
every single one of us, driven down that windy country road through the hills and dales, beyond the reach of any cellular network, and begun to wonder, what would happen? Am I okay? Is this a time? This is not a time when I want my car or my bike or something or my person to fail.
差不多吧，就是说你这种就是在任何交通工具穿梭这种没有任何通讯覆盖的地方，没法求助的地方，你都会很担心，就说这个地方如果车坏了就搞砸了。
You are connected on your mobile phone. Because this is a technology partnership about dedicating T-Mobile's, a slice of T-Mobile's mid-band PCS spectrum to be integrated into Starlink satellites launched next year so that our vision becomes that you can connect with your existing phone. That is incredible.
和手机直连啊，所以也不能说直连吧，我估计就是他们 T-Mobile 估计这边会做一些中转装置啊，我的猜测。因为从物理上来说的话，手机和手机和星链直接互联应该是物理上是不可行的。我看来他们是打算这么做。
And so this is something that begins next year. We will enter beta, we believe, as soon as late next year with messaging, MMS, and even messaging apps, so that you can, with your existing phone, beyond the reach of any cellular network, be connected. And
那么应该初期阶段，它的意思应该是比较低带宽的发消息之类的情况。总归就是保证你可以有连接信号。
In vast parts of Alaska, in Hawaii, in
就
Puerto
不管什
Rico,
么地
in
方，就像阿
territorial
拉斯加这种
waters,
鸟
and
地方
even。vast parts of the world's oceans. Does that sound good to you? And it's also something that we'd like to work in all the territories of foreign nations as well. And so this is in addition to something we're doing in the
不光是功率的问题，你们也老想功率嘛？这主要是那个分辨率的问题啊。就天线大小确实限制了一个通讯分辨率的一个问题啊。
Dedicated to SpaceX's Starlink constellation, we will be able to offer reciprocal roaming to them, so that when those people come and visit the United States and go off the grid into the national parks, they'll be connected too. And likewise, when American citizens travel to those countries, they'll be connected. Our vision and our dream
这个而
is
且
ubiquitous
是他们这个目标应该是要覆盖到国外的，就是
Now,
全
at
球范围
T-Mobile, we're
的，
the
应该
Un-carrier.
是。
So while we're not here to announce a product tonight, it's a technology alliance, I have to foreshadow for you that I would expect the pricing for this service to be the Un-carrier's favorite price. The price that we've made famous, which is that we expect on our most popular plans for this service to be included for free.
哦，这个就有
And there
点
is
屌。
no company in the world I would want to trust
Free.
with a vision this big to partner with us
就
to
是这
aspire
额外的服务
to
费用
dream，these dreams
他们想说
that
是
the
免
most
费的。
sophisticated and
那应该
advanced
是意思应该
space
就是他们
organization in the
有他们
world
之前那个服务的话，
and its
像什么
leader,
Coverage Beyond， 然后
SpaceX
再
and
换掉这一
Elon
代的话，
Musk.
就
So
不用
please
没有额外
welcome
的。
Elon to the stage.
OK，我们老马终于来了。当然，这个说他们说不是产品发布，这是一个技术合作的一个计划的宣布，战略合作伙伴的宣布，差不多这种意思吧。技术合作伙伴。那么轮到老马了。
And something that we really want to emphasize, because I think there might be some confusion out there, is that this is the Starlink second generation satellites will be able to broadcast direct to cell phones. So the cell phones you're holding up there, it will be able to transmit directly to your cell or mobile phone. So
Really? What the fuck?
This won't have the kind of bandwidth that a Starlink terminal would have, but it will enable texting. It will enable images, and if there aren't too many people in the cell zone, you could even potentially have a little bit of video. So
这个
the
意
important
思
thing。about this is that
好吧，这个还是可以的，就是说2代星链里面加另外一个通讯，因为现在1代星链都是那个 beaming connection 嘛，就说是收束型的高带宽服务。那么他们现在应该是做一个广播式 broadcasting 的一个低带宽的通讯，这样的话确实是可以跟手机进行一定程度上的直连的。这个意思我可以接受。
We've all read about somebody who's, say, been hiking and got lost and perhaps died of thirst or exposure.
那么就说这个就说不像是一般的星链，像一般星链在做的东西，而是更加传统的一种广播式的通讯。那么就说是确实是可以做到，也可以做直连，但带宽的话就会比较低。这个最重要的意图就是无论在什么地方，是无论什么鸟不拉屎的地方，你都可以求救之类的。那么就是文字和可能比较小的图片都是可以。
Massively improve people's convenience, and it's gonna save lives. So it's incredible. Damn. And the way we're doing this is with really quite big antennas. So so people might be wondering what technology is necessary to make this work. And in order to make this work, you actually have to have
这也提到有一个比较大的天线，在卫星上面。
big antennas on
这个和我之前的观点怎么说呢？有点不一样啊。我之前在想的是这种收束型的通讯啊，那样的话物理上的话，你必须要有一定的分辨率来进行这个可靠的收束的。但它这应该是双向广播的一个通讯啊，这样的话就单纯只是功率问题。
Incredibly excited to be pioneering this revolutionary new technology with T-Mobile. So.
那么所以说是跟 T-Mobile 算是一个合作关系嘛，因为那边是专精手机通讯、移动通讯嘛，然后这边的话，这边 SpaceX 肯定是卫星端，然后是在特定的频段上合作，估计是这样。
We're confident that it will be able to work if it's in your pocket or if you're in your car. Certainly, if
那么就说移动的，或者说你放在手机上、放在口袋里都可以啊，就是不用像现在的星链的终端一样，就是说必须要有一个精确指向的一个盘子啊，因为它是双向进行广播通讯的话，就是不是点对点收束型通讯的话，那么就和一般的手机使用体验就比较接近了。
Millions of text messages. So, yeah, I think this is a really a massive game changer. I hope that I'm trying to I'm being maybe a little repetitive on some of these things because I sometimes wonder, like, is the profundity of what we're saying actually gonna, because, you know, will the public understand this? Hello, public. Hello, public. Because you know, those in the audience from T-Mobile and SpaceX obviously understand what we're talking about. Is really a really big announcement, but I hope the public understands the magnitude of the announcement as well. It's you know, in a nutshell, it's no more dead zones, and yeah, that's what it comes down to.
强调就是希望一般人也重视一下这个嘛，就说像是 T-Mobile 这种通讯公司的话，肯定会理解就是所谓去除掉这些通讯死角的重要意义啊。那希望一般大众也能够认识到，就说这个是多么重大的一个事情吧。但这个没有太多超出我的预料。
we're not here to announce the product yet, but my vision for this is that on our most popular plans, we're just going to go ahead and include this. And you know, we feel like that's what the Un-carrier does. That's important. Now, there may be low-cost plans that don't.
这边强调一下，这边不算是产品和计划的具体计划的发布，就是它的愿景是，就是它比一些比较，估计是比较贵的那些合同的话，直接把这个服务免费包括进去。
Just like we did with the global connectivity for our cellular roaming partners all around the world.
So do Starlink satellites have to be reprogrammed to communicate using T-Mobile's radio band? Actually, we need to do more than simply reprogram the satellites. We are constructing special antenna. Like I said, they're actually very big antenna that are also extremely advanced. They're
就说是不是需要做一些重新架构，就说用 T-Mobile 这边所拥有的这个中频段通讯来进行一个互联，这边说还要额外设计并新做一个很大尺寸的一个天线。
And then be caught by a satellite that's traveling 17,000 miles an hour, and the satellite's got to compensate for the Doppler effect of moving so fast. So this is really quite a difficult technical challenge.
那么就说一下这边技术性挑战嘛，毕竟是一个相距大概500多公里、500-600公里快速移动的一个卫星啊。那么即使是多普勒效应也是一个问题。
So the question is the invitation for all carriers across the world or just the U.S. to start? You know, one of the beautiful things about satellites is the Earth. And so, you know, our mutual view was the more companies around the world we can get signed up for this, the way T-Mobile is signing up for it tonight, the better. Because, and what we're offering is reciprocal roaming, so that our spectrum, which will be transmitted by the satellites all around the United States, including territorial waters, vast portions of Alaska, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, big swaths of the ocean potentially, will be available to visitors in the United States that have carriers all over the world. And our view is that the best way to do this would be to ask them to also participate, find a piece of mid-band spectrum in their country.
看来基本上就是这是算一个起始吧，他们希望有更多的通信服务商能加入这种合作，差不多这种意思。这里其实有点评断之争啊。
And so tonight's message is a call to those carriers to get involved and join the party.
怎么说呢？通讯这里面其实江湖也是水很深的。比如说，他们现在这次用的频段其实是原本所属是 T-Mobile 所有的一个频段啊。
Next question right in front of us. Will Starlink handle any of T-Mobile's backhaul transport? Well, we're open to that, and we're partners now. So, yeah, and
yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, and you know, it's I'm a Starlink customer, so I use the Starlink service right now, and it has blown my mind. I mean, it's an amazing service.
商业互吹啊，就是说自己也是新链的使用用户之一，那是一个。反正对他来说是很惊艳的一个体验。
To make that the way we reach people with full voice data and messaging services, and so you know certainly we're open to that. Yeah, you want to do, yeah, okay. Does participating messaging apps mean iPhone users on this Starlink connection will be on iMessage as usual, and Android users will be on RCS? We haven't actually we just announced this moments ago, we haven't actually begun working with other companies as to how they will integrate with us. But the reason we said select messaging apps is because it's a bit of a technical problem that we need help from the partner with in order to separate messaging traffic from all other data traffic. We've done this before with prior initiatives at T-Mobile. We know how to do it, but sometimes we need a little bit of involvement from partners. We also need to make sure that they're working with us in a payload-aware way. And so our opportunity over this next few months is to open up a program and invite messaging apps to participate such that they are reaching our network in a way that our network can see and separate the messaging
这边
traffic
说的是一
and
个
make
比较
it
偏技术性的东
available
西，
to
就是说
participate in the
是
service right out of the gate. So that's the
这
vision.
边会用一个特别的
And our
流量
partners,
通道嘛，就是说
in
一
the
般的
internet
流
have
量
worked with us
和
before. Years ago, we did music freedom,
专门的像
and
是
we
发信息
would
轨
be
会
the
用一
first
个专门
company
的
to
流量
allow
通
you to
道，
stream all
可
your
能是这样
music
的意
free
思。
at T-Mobile back
这
when
主要是
we
他们和
sold
其他一
data via
些
data bucket. And we,
发
so
信
we've
息
been
的一
through this
些
journey
工
before,
具
and
的一些
that's
合作吧。
basically how it'll work.
Yeah, I think an important thing though is that you will not need to get a new phone. The phone you currently have will work. So
反正就让补充一下，就反正说不需要特别的手机啊，不需要新的手机，现有的就可以。
yeah, so
差不多
audience
强调一
questions.
下而已。
Yeah, hey guys.
总还有现场提问。
Question for Elon. Eric Berger from Ars Technica. You said the Gen 2 antennas are very big. Can you talk about how big those are?
具体天线有多大？
So big.
But I mean, NASA has had some issues with another company's antennas because they were really big. So I'm just trying to get a sense of like how big they are, and then like how many of these can actually fit in the Falcon 9 payload fairing, because you've been talking about launching that in addition to Starship. So thanks.
哇，这问题都好好尖锐。
We think like the service.
具体多大还是说
satellite. The Starlink V2 is the main body of the satellite is about 7 meters long. So call it maybe 40% longer than an SUV. And then the antennas that we're talking about here would be supplemental to the KU and KA antennas that we're currently using on Starlink 1 and to the laser links. So the Starlink 2 satellites, we intend to have KA, KU, improved KA, KU, and obviously the laser links, and then in addition we would fold out the sort of cell spectrum antenna that would be also quite large, so on the order of 5 or 6 meters on a side, so roughly 25 square meters.
And then can you get those in the Falcon 9 payload fairing?
The Starlink V2 is meant for Starship. We might, yeah, it's meant for Starship, like those things. So the Starlink V2 satellites are very large and too big to fit in a Falcon 9. But we are actually looking at an interim solution, which is like a sort of Starlink V2 Mini that would maybe launch if the Starship program is delayed longer than expected, we'd launch a sort of a smaller Starlink V2 kind of Mini that would fit on a Falcon 9.
Thank you.
差不多，大概是就是 V2 的 Starlink V2 那么主体是大概7米长左右，3种通讯连接天线嘛 ，KU、KB 还有星间链接，还有就是另外额外加上大概5-6米的一个直径5-6米的，那么移动通讯波段的一个天线，那么一般来说是不会放在类就好了，但是也在研究一个更小型化版的一个星链 mini V2 mini。会不会有 beta program？ 会不会有内测大概？
As soon as we have the satellites in orbit, we will try to enable them to connect to cell phones for emergency services. So you actually don't need, unlike a real-time connection, you don't need to have the full constellation of satellites active in order to transmit text messages or email for that matter. So any kind of asynchronous communication will work even if there's only one satellite. Now, of course, we are constrained by regulatory approval. But from a technical standpoint, it should work even when there's only a handful of satellites in orbit, because of the asynchronous nature of text messaging and email. You might just have to wait.
我可能没有听清楚问题啊，不仅是内测，也有可能是问的是什么时候开始服务。他们老板这边说的意思，反正就是说，只要有少量的卫星有这种天线的话，那么很有可能就已经可以开始进行一些紧急通讯的服务，因为它是广播式的嘛，可能就是只要覆盖范围内就可以吧，应该是和点对点通讯毕竟是不一样，当然也有当然也有许可的问题。
Topic questions, but I'm going to skip those.
Yeah, we're going to stay on topic, otherwise.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So,
with
this new technology, will this eliminate international plans? And you talked about download speeds. What about upload speeds?
Yeah, this will not. I do want to.
是的，我估计他理解错了。
Like this is an amazing thing that we're unveiling, but I do want to make sure that it's understood in the right context. The size of the cell that will be quite large compared to the space-based cell system. The area of the cell will be large compared to a terrestrial system. So this is really meant for places that don't have cell tower connectivity, because although it's like maybe 2 to 4 megabits capability, that's what the capability is for the entire cell. So if you've got so we're talking about like 1 to 2,000 voice calls per cell, but that cell is going to be quite large, and so it really is. It's not a substitute for ground cell stations, because ground cell stations, especially in urban and suburban areas, will definitely be superior to what we're talking about here. This is really meant to provide basic coverage to areas that are currently.
反正就注意一点，因为它这里用的是广播式和手机直连，所以它提供的应该是以仅限紧急情况下使用，而且是在就是原本通讯黑带地区的一些就是一些弥补吧。它带宽应该是非常非常低的啊，就是4到6 megabytes。而且是总带宽，我估计是一定区域内的总带宽可能就4到6个兆吧。
Cellular connectivity, it affects everyday people, it affects the first responders. So with what you were talking about earlier, is it going to help assist with that situation?
Yeah, I'm going to jump in. It's one of the big benefits of this is redundancy. And one of the big priorities of our industry, and I know of the FCC who regulates us, is redundancy. And one of the things about starting next year with messaging, as opposed to trying to plunge right into voice and data right away, is that with messaging, we should be able to handle a lot of messages, many thousands of messages that can be sent. And so when you do have outages that happen through natural disasters or otherwise, there's an opportunity for people at scale to be connected in real time.
那么从救灾的角度额外提一下。
But he's talking about before we reach commercial service, right? So
那么他们一开始会做的只是文字通讯嘛，这意味着他们就手上绝对会有足够的带宽啊。开始的时候卫星也会比较少，那么有些情况下，比如说是出现自然灾害的时候，那么无数的这些大量的一些紧急通讯，他们都可以处理啊。以后的话可能会想升级到像是语音和图片嘛，开始的时候应该是纯文字。那就到时候就各种自然灾害的情况下，那么大家都会希望就用一些紧急通讯的服务，这算是一种备用选项，也就是说像是一般的通讯手段遭受破坏了，那么这算一个也会成为一个有用的备用选项。
Hi, it's Evelyn at evalo4tasmanian.com. How many Starlink users can a single Starlink satellite support?
So in this context for this application, we're talking about roughly 2 to 4 megabits per cell zone. So it depends on how many people are in the cell zone. You divide that bandwidth by the number of people in the cell zone and who are using it simultaneously. So since a voice call is about 2 kilobits, that's 1 to 2,000 simultaneous voice calls, or there's hundreds of thousands of text messages that could be sent depending on the length of the text message.
对，这总带宽就蛮小的嘛，就说每一个区域啊，就是一个也不知道是多大一个区域，是2到4兆的一个带宽。大概如果要用语音通讯的话，大概就1000个人左右的通讯容量。
Existing T-Mobile mid-band PCS spectrum. Some of the most tried and true spectrum there is, and we own it nationwide. It's one of the pieces that we own contiguous on every single corner of the country. So that allows us to then dedicate that, working together, to the constellation that Starlink operates, so that we are seeing those satellites from every corner of the country. As we said in the remarks, if you have a clear view of the sky, our vision is you're connected, and so your phone doesn't really know. Your phone doesn't know it's connecting to space. It will scan for its home network. It'll scan for terrestrial roaming partners as well. And if it fails to see those things, it will scan again, and it will connect to the authorized connection from the satellite. And it'll think it's connected to a cell tower, because that phone is using industry standard technology communication protocols, and it has the spectrum already built in, at least the vast majority of phones.
反正他们的计划是使用他们现有的就是中频波段的一个既有的通讯服务啊，就和一般的和手机移动终端就是基站互联的一个相同的频段，所以对对手机来说的话就感觉像是就他们可能只是认为像连上了一个普通的一个基站一样。
increase in frequency as you comes towards you.
我们老板又额外提一下，这里反正会处理到多普勒效应的问题啊，就是多普勒效应呢会导致那个频率的升高和降低嘛。反正是卫星那头处理掉这个问题啊。
Yeah, hey, Paul Michaels with Ocean Camera Space Corp. So your both companies are going to work together, kind of contribute different infrastructure together to build a bigger network and stuff. How do you see this maybe going further into the solar system, maybe future partnership there?
Well, we'd love to have T-Mobile on Mars.
There you go.
火星上一个。
That might be the last question, perhaps. Okay. Well, I guess.
我没有在这边弹幕好像吵起来，但我没有，刚才没有实际花什么精力看啊。其实大家有兴趣的话，像千雪或者叶子等，或者你们谁想回头帮忙管理一下这边的这边弹幕的话，我其实可以给权限的，我可以研究一下。就一般我们这边的气氛还是比较好的嘛，偶尔混进来就个别的不和谐的什么，可以手动处理一下嘛。就我感觉我刚才一直没有看弹幕这边，就刚注意到。其实大家有兴趣的话，可以私信我一下，然后我们可以帮你们拉一下权限。总归就是我们就回顾一下就大概的印象吧。圈重点的话，主要就是一个去除通讯死角的一个算是一个技术战略合作伙伴关系吧。那么重点的话，无非就是说他们会用那个 T-Mobile 现在所有权限的一个通讯协议频段，然后会在2代的星链上做一个特别大的天线。这样特别大的天线的话，也是因为是这个频率相对说低一点啊，所以物理上需求一个更大的天线和以及功率上的问题。它要实现的目的的话，是一个和手机的直连的一个双向广播性的一个通讯服务啊。那么因为它是广播性质，和星链之前在做的一个点对点通讯、收束性通讯是完全不一样的。那么物理上首先是可行的，另外一个的话，随之而来的问题的话，就是带宽会非常低啊。那么 大概就是2到4兆的带宽要分给上千个人，或者更多人的一个情况。那么一般来说的话，开始初期的话，他们只想做文字端的一个紧急接入服务、紧急通讯服务啊。那主要的话就是在一个通讯死角的地带去，提供那么一个可以紧急通讯的手段，大概是这样的。也没有什么明确的产品，大概反正就来说的话，是作为一个比较有意义的，算怎么说呢？孤境的，就是孤境的一些服务吧。去除一些通讯死角，这就基本上是他们的一个这个现在的一个计划目标吧。稍微对我们来说的话，了解一下二代星链上还会做这么一个额外的天线，这是对 SpaceX 方面这是一个比较明确的一个新的硬件方面的区别吧。这算是一个比较新的消息。那么其他的话，差不多就是这些新东西吧。还有什么吗？广播通讯要进行测试是肯定测试，但这个并不是什么新的技术，这个就是说，也有一些新的技术嘛，就是说这个通讯协议或者说像这种手段的话，还算是就司空见惯了，无非说你要处理掉的一个是，因为你用的这个波段的话，并不是常用的太空的通讯波段，对吧？你用的是更加在地面基站上，地面移动网络常用的一些基站上的一个频段，那么这算一个相对比较新的东西，你还是要把那个。还是要把那个多普勒效应给处理掉，这是算一个他们现在要攻克的一个问题。毕竟太空优化的网络频段和就是说和地面通讯常用的一个通讯协议的话，还是有些区别的吧，我想。那么他们应该基本上是要把从卫星方面做一些计算方面的处理，然后或计算和一些变频上的处理，然后来适应那么地面通讯所这个频段的协议。所一个常规的要求吧，这样的话你就照顾到用户的话就不需要更换新的设备吧，是这样的一个想法。主要的话听老马的意思来说的话，主要要处理到应该就是多普勒效应做的一个结果。估计的话，反正可以通过一些手段吧，就是计算两者之间的相对移动速度，然后做一个人为自动化的变频。通讯可能是大概思路是这样的，说起来很简单，做起来并不一定很轻松。差不多就这样吧，就算是一个这次公布的一个东西吧。其实还算比较简单的嘛。但老马的意思就是要希望一般人也注意一下嘛，就是说，虽然说我们说的好像蛮简单，就是说去除通讯死角这种东西，虽然老马认为是一个非常有意义的事情，所以说他们之前2次力推这个发布会嘛，大概是这样的想法。并不是什么特别优质的，就是革命性的一个变革性的什么产业颠覆性的一个计划吧，但确实是对一个硬伤嘛，就说是对通讯死角这么一个问题，至少有一个比较最低限度的一个弥补，差不多这样情况。那么就说是，在任何地方都不会失联这么一个意义啊。这么说的话，好像也是意义蛮重要的，但并不是说你在任何地方都能够高速上网，这不是的，只是说你有一个最低限度的紧急通讯的手段，他们是在这样的一个计划。那差不多就是就是这样了。然后明后天的话还有两次的发射任务啊，然后再往后2天的话，那么还有这个月反正最瞩目的一个 SLS 的发射啊，到时候也可以大家一起来看一下，和这次一样，应该就是不是解说，而是一个随意看看的形式。那么录像就录到这里了，希望大家喜欢这次一个简单的收看的录制。然后的话，我再看一下弹幕还有什么问题，我们可以再聊一会儿吧。直播这边的话。那么录像就到这里啊，就感谢大家的收看。